Hey, Tren.
Hello, Lou. How are you?
I'm good, mate. What are we doing this week?
We are talking about astrology and tarot, and
Ah,
the majors that are associated with the astrological signs. Get that
oh,
one
I
out
love that
fast.
technology you've got going. That technology, fucking hell, we've only just started.
Yeah.
I love that technicality stuff you've got going. The technical piece.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
What are we going to do first? Draw a card.
Draw a
Do
card.
last two? Yeah. All right.
Draw a card.
All right. So let's see. What is this about?
What do we need to focus on or bring into this podcast today?
That's a great question. What do we need to focus on or bring into this podcast today?
God knows we need all the help.
We do today a little bit off. Can you tell? Yeah. Let's see what to bring in. All right. I really like that question.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's enough shuffling.
No. What is it?
Four of Pentacles.
Four of Pentacles.
Right.
So how is this associated with us?
Let's talk about this. So we are using the Dragon Tarot for those who are listening. And for those who are watching, here it is here. Now, typically this card would speak about scarcity
Yes.
and the holding on of something.
Hanging on to things.
Hanging on to things. So
Yeah.
how do we bring that in? Grasp the knowledge.
Yes, I think that's it.
Grasp the knowledge. And maybe on this particular card, which is the Dragon Tarot, what we're looking at is a dragon sitting on top of the earth, and it's almost as if we can see what's happening beneath it. And there's a couple like buried within the earth. So, and one or just coming to the surface, or maybe she's pushing them down.
Yeah.
Whichever way
you
may
interpret it.
So for today, and the way we set the intention for the question, I think it will be about what we are going to unearth for our listeners and viewers today. Viewers, I haven't heard that since bloody Paul Hogan.
Hello, viewers.
Hello, viewers. Anyway, let's knock it off.
Only for the Australian audience.
Australian audience will get that, yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling this is about today. So let us know if this card that we've drawn for today and the intention we've set actually matches come the end of this session. I'd love to know.
Actually, it might be good if we draw another card at the end and just see how it correlates.
Okay, I was just going to say remind us, but the viewers can't remind us.
No, we'll have to remember us.
I'll put it like that, and hopefully that will remind us. All right, let's get into it. So the first astrological sign is
Aries.
Aries.
And Aries is March, April, late March to late April, isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes over 2 months.
Yeah, I think I know it's 27th or
something like that.
A bit different, but anyway, around there. So, and we have ta-da,
the Emperor.
Emperor. Now we are using the Rider-Waite deck here. All right. So if we were looking at that deck, why and how do we connect this to Aries energy?
Well, the obvious things are the rams on the back of his throne, isn't it? And the front.
Oh yeah, here and here.
Yeah, on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. Yeah, and like April, for argument's sake, is the fourth.
The fourth month.
So the number 4 up here also. Let's talk a bit about the personalities.
What's the strength in it, isn't it? And to me, Aries, they all have a certain, I don't know, strength, but leadership. They're born leaders to me. Yeah, they're sort of born knowing how to get things done, how to move through things and get the result that they want.
It's like they've arrived and they go, I'm here, let's get going, let's get it done.
They also have, to me, big personalities.
They do, very much about the I energy. Aries is very I, right? Yeah. So interesting, I want to get this done. Very independent. So independence is what this can be. Now, the Emperor likes to be independent.
Very much.
And he's a bit of a control freak. And sometimes Aries can just be a little bit like that. But we need that a lot of the time. We need that to push us through, don't we?
We sort of dig deep and bring up that attribute that we all have within us. It's just sometimes...
I've just got to say this. Dig deep.
Dig deep.
And I'm holding the card that we drew up
yeah,
before, which is the dragon.
Unearthing from the earth.
Unearthing. Dig
Yeah, we
deep,
dig-
she said.
dig
Can't make this
deep.
shit up. Okay. All right. What's next?
Next we have Taurus, which is April, May. So again, going from whatever the 20th of April to the 20th of May, whatever it is. Late
Yeah,
April, late May.
like the last week, yeah.
Yeah. And we have the Hierophant. And we had to actually research this because we couldn't work out how the Hierophant sits with Taurus.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll be honest, yeah, we
Yeah.
did, because I looked at it and I thought, I couldn't even remember. I'm like, who's that Vibes Taurus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this one. And I look at it and I'm like, how is it? How is it?
Yeah, but
So
it's the custom and the tradition, because Taurus people, but they like that.
Taurians like that, yeah.
Exactly. That's probably a better word for it.
They do. They're very earthy.
They are.
Very grounded.
They can
like
be
to-
stubborn.
Oh, fuck, they can be stubborn. They dig those heels in,
Yeah.
and they can be like they like life's finer
They do,
things,
don't they?
right?
They do.
So when we consider that, when we look at the Hierophant, we can see that there's like a little bit of luxury in the robes.
In the robes and
in the crown, you know,
Mm.
so that little bit of luxury and that indulgence, if you will.
It is. It's an indulgence, isn't it?
Mm.
It's I won't say they're similar to Aries, but it's very much, again, it's sort of a little bit all about me. So it can, I mean, on my experience, they can be all about me.
And your experience, that can be all about you. Just
Yeah.
for shits and giggles, I'm going to
Yeah.
look up what the dragon Hierophant looks like. But
Okay.
just because we can, I'm like, it just fascinates me to see. And because in the Light Seers deck, the Hierophant would represent more of the earthy qualities of the Taurians, I think,
Yeah.
because from memory, he's really laughing.
Yes,
And
he
he's
is.
got his head thrown back.
Yeah, and he's sitting at the bottom of the stairs, isn't he?
Yeah.
We're just looking for these particular ones so we
So
can
you
show
can
you.
see I just feel he's really earthy in that. This is going to go back to what we were saying a couple episodes before about comparing your decks and getting more information out of yourself.
Exactly.
So it's kind of been a crossover, I think, Tren.
It is.
So
And I even think with the Hierophant in the Light Seers deck, there's a bit of joy and happiness
there's a lot
around
of
him.
joy and happiness in that Light Seers deck. And I think that's why I'm really drawn. I love the Light Seers deck.
Yes.
As well as I'm like, what am I looking at? The Dragon
The
Tarot.
Dragon Tarot. There he is.
Yeah.
This is the Light Seers deck with the Hierophant. And you can see it's a lot lighter compared to the Rider-Waite. It's a lot lighter. There's more fun. There's more freedom.
Much more fun there, and he's sitting on the earth, right?
Yeah.
So he's like grounded in the earth
Yeah.
part, and he certainly can rise when he needs to
When
rise.
he needs to, yeah.
And interesting, because on the Dragon
Dragon
Tarot,
ones.
you'll see there's a similar staircase, right, where the dragon sits on top in this sense.
Yeah.
And I feel the earthy elements are all the other
All the
animals
animals.
down here. So it's like back to the animal nature and connecting and grounding and all of that. So that's how I see those different cards. If
Yeah.
that makes sense for Taurus, if
The
you will.
Taurus, yeah.
And of course, interesting, May is the 5th month, right? So, and that's the number 5.
Yeah. This is another way. I had not put the numbers together with the months before.
Yeah,
So that's another way, if we're talking timing, if it comes up, it could be a way of going, okay, something may happen around May.
Absolutely, or the time of
Or the
Taurus.
time- or the time of
of
Taurus.
Taurus. So that's another way to do timing, which
It is.
will lead into our
Exactly.
next coming
Yeah. Next episode.
podcast. Next episode. Now we've given that away.
Yep.
So okay.
Look out for it. Look out for it.
Yeah, hopefully we're a lot more aligned.
Exactly.
You got it together. Today's just been a funny day. All right.
Okay, so
then we
we're
have
moving on to Gemini,
Gemini.
which is May, June.
It is. And the card will be really, really obvious
Yeah.
when you see it and why.
Yeah, which is the
The
lovers.
lovers, right? So we talk about the twins, right?
yeah.
So that's where that comes from. And Gemini does have an ability. I see Gemini as being really adaptable. Like they can be one person in this situation and another person in the same situation
Exactly.
the next day.
The next day. exactly. They're not
unbelievable.
flipping because they're still staying true to themselves, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they just come across differently.
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
brother was a Gemini, and half the time
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was going to get. Like,
Yes, I have a sister who is a Gemini, and sometimes you're terrified to ring her.
today.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, and like, you know, seriously loved my brother and still do love him. Just
Yes.
love him from a different
Afar.
space. Love him from afar now. Love him from heaven. And he was Gemini, yeah, and that was something that I found.
Yeah.
You know, now Gemini is an air sign.
Yes.
Right, so a lot of mental energy.
Very much
with Gemini. So interesting. And on this card, be represented here by the wings. Right, that's the element of air and the clouds. See that? So this is looking at the Rider-Waite deck. So you can see the elements on there, and that's what I would encourage you to look at, is how do these cards relate to the personalities of the astrological signs, and where's the symbols to show me that it is that astrological sign. Like Trina said right in the beginning, Aries is really evident, right? Because we see the rams.
Yeah. And now I'm going back to the Hierophant. I'm going, oh, it's a bull, isn't it? And I'm thinking, how can we relate the Hierophant on the Rider-Waite?
I think it's going to be more about what typical Taurians are about rather than the symbol itself.
It's not not so obvious, is it?
No, it's not so obvious. So there is times, great exercise to point out. So there are times then when you may not see the obvious, so you're going to go deeper and maybe look at the personality or the energy specifically about that particular astrological sign, right? Yes. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of others that you'll all have yourselves as well. So yes. All right. Moving on to Cancer. Ta-da!
Which is the Chariot.
Chariot. So how the fuck do you get Cancer out of that?
Yeah, because the Cancer is the crab, isn't it?
It is, but Cancer's ruled by the moon.
Oh, okay. I forget that.
Ruled by the moon, right? And we see the moons, crescent moons on his shoulders there. That's what that is. It's a number 7 for July, which is also the time of Cancer. Yes, it's late June, but it's also July. So that's how that is. Now, let's look at the personality of this card. Right? So let's talk about the Chariot for a sec. Want to be in the driver's seat, want to have control. Sometimes Cancerians' insecurities make them a little controlling.
Yes.
And I wouldn't know at all anything about that, being a Cancerian myself. So this is what that card can represent. But it's also speaks to, like, when Cancer wants something, they go after it. Tend to go and get it. Yeah, they're like, get out of my way. That's what I want. I will steamroll you the fuck over. So that's how that can be. So
it can be quite emotional. Cancerians can be quite emotional too. And that's represented by the water in that card, isn't it? The water behind there. That's
a great pickup. Yeah, the water here, like it runs behind him. So interesting. And Cancers are very much about the home and the family, right?
Yes.
And on this particular card, we'll have to check the others out. You see like castles on either side. So to me, that is symbolic of needing to like be in the middle of the home and needing to make sure that we are surrounded by home.
Yeah, having that security, isn't it?
Home. It's definitely about the security for Cancer when it comes to the home.
Yeah, I'm just looking for in the Lightseers deck because in the Lightseers it's a guy standing on top of the carriage and with the horses going hell for leather.
So let's have a look at what's in there in that card, just for comparison.
There it is. And in comparison to me, it's a bit darker. It's a bit darker than the Rider-Waite.
It is. Do you reckon that represents like the chakra points? Like you think about that's the orange, which is the womb and the creativity in the birthing place, right? And Cancer is very much about family. So I'm wondering on that card then. So here's another little clue. Sometimes the colours are going to give you a bit of a clue as to potentially what that might be.
Yeah. So as you can put it like that, they're completely different colours. So you get more when you compare your decks.
Absolutely.
Like we've said before, you'll get more when you compare decks.
You will. Now, here's the Dragon Tarot.
Oh no, look at the colours on that.
Yeah,
That's
like,
very,
how different is
it's
that?
very watery, very emotional, isn't it?
Very watery, very emotional, as Cancerians tend to
Yeah.
be.
So you
right?
can, I will take photos, but you can see the differences in those cards.
Yeah, huge, hey?
Yeah.
So this is like, to me, what they're doing. And in the back of this Dragon's Tarot, there is a shit ton of houses.
There is, isn't it?
representing the home and fiercely standing in front and defending that. So yeah, all
Yeah.
these different ways to consider and look at.
And look at.
Yes, consider and look at. Excellent. Now we move on to Leo.
And now, what do you think Leo's going to be?
Leo the lion. Leo the lion. Very proud Leos.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Ruled by the sun, right? And you'll see here the yellow on this can be all the sun. Leo the lion shows itself on now. And Leos typically, most Leos, not all fucking Leos,
Not
just
all-
quietly,
not all-
but
not
most
all.
Leos have a big heart.
Yes, they
A
certainly do.
genuine big heart, right? For
Yeah, they
those
go
that
out of
they
their way.
genuinely care about, right?
Oh,
And
yes.
they can be a little bit like, look at me,
Oh.
come here, look at me. They can
They
be a
they
bit
definitely
like
can
that.
be almost like got to be the center of attention.
They can be. And one of the interesting here, you'll notice on this card here, she's got the flowers in her hair, right? Now, I relate that to a whole lot of other things, but given the context in which we're talking about, the Leos that I know give a great deal of fucks about their mane, right? Which is their hair.
Yes.
So-
Which is really funny because my husband is a Leo and he's got no hair.
He's got no hair. Oh my God. I once knew a Leo had long hair. Beautiful mane at the time. Not so
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
now, but it was beautiful at the time. And other Leos I've seen are either like, you think about the scruffy lion.
Yeah. Yes.
With and they're a bit like that. They're a bit tousled and a bit scruffy, or they're that immaculate king where they're slick.
Preened.
Preened. I love that word, preened. Right. So yeah, and Leos are beautiful people usually.
They are. They can be arrogant though, can't they?
Oh,
Some
God. Don't even
and
talk about the fucking arrogant Leos.
they get
There
arrogant.
are beautiful Leos who would go out of their way and support in any way that they possibly could. And of course, we're just looking now. We're just going to check out the Leos. And I say this will be the last one we do it with, but
we
probably won't be. So again, we're looking for the light seer and we're looking for the dragon tarot just to compare the difference, to see what else we get out of it, because as we've learned through our blind spot series, which we might do a little more on
we might do,
at
because
one
we've still,
point.
we've still got more to go, haven't we?
We've still got more to go. You can see how pulling the decks out, as Tren has made mention of earlier in this series, in this particular podcast, you get more.
You get more.
You get more.
So do not limit yourself to one deck. Again, depends what opportunities and finances you have, but if you do have the opportunity to get other decks, look at them, because look, this is the Light Seers deck. Look at this, and that's the Dragon deck. Look at those. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
He's different, isn't he?
It's very
Dragon one
different.
is very different. So I've got to stop and think, how does this, when I look at it, actually relate?
I suppose you could say when he related to, he is taming the dragon.
He is taming the dragon in this, and the dragons are the same color as the
lion in the Rider-Waite, aren't they?
Yeah.
And again, you're talking about hair. Look at the hair on that fella.
Check
And again, look at the Light Seer. All the attention is in that, in the hair.
Yeah, interesting. It's a bit like the strengths of Samson, isn't it?
It is.
It is. So interesting concepts to think about.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. All righty. What are we up to? I think
what are we
up
to?
to
The Hermit.
Virgo.
So we're up to the Hermit.
The Hermit. Okay.
I did have him, but he's gone. I know he is.
Oh, you got him in the Light Seers?
I've got the Light Seers.
Excellent. Tren is more organised than me.
I'm sure I've missed out a few.
That's all right. So here we have the Hermit, which represents Virgo. What's its timing?
The Hermit is August, September.
August, September. Yeah. So what we were saying before about timing is if a card is popped down in front of you and like someone asks the question like, oh, do you know when that'll be? And you might turn this card over, the Hermit over, then you can say, oh, in the time of Virgo, which is bang. You know, what time's Virgo again?
August, September.
August, September.
Yeah, August, September.
August, September, there you go.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that one, and no, this has not come out before, but in like August, September, we're coming out of winter into spring, isn't it? So I'm looking at the colours of that. You know, it's coming out of
We
that.
are
We are in the southern
our
hemisphere.
Southern hemisphere,
Yeah. But I'm just looking at the colours in that, and that is, I think that's the only card in the deck that has that grey, rainy, cold feeling.
Yeah, and these are based,
Yeah,
not based, but
they
when
are
you think about, they were
designed
originally
over there,
designed in
in
the
northern hemisphere.
so that
Yeah.
would make sense.
Yeah.
But Virgos are like self-leaders,
Yes.
right? Perfectionists, attention to detail freaks, you know.
Yeah, very much
so you want a job done, and you want it done right, and you want to make sure everything is checked off. You get a Virgo to do that,
because they are not going to stop until it's perfect.
Meticulous. They will get it done.
They've got their list, their to-do list, and they check them
do.
off as they go.
They do. I have a friend who's a Virgo, and I tell you what, she's the most house proud bitch I've ever met in my life. Like, yeah, you walk in, she'll be like, "I don't mind the mess."
What mess?
What mess? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, very. So yeah, they're beautiful people.
Yes,
Beautiful.
They can
people.
be a little bit not
Usually.
scattered, but their minds can just go in different directions all the time because they've got so much going on.
Now that's an interesting point, right? Trina's talking about personality. Guess what element Virgo is? Oh no, Virgo's Earth.
Is it?
Yes, Virgo's
So
Earth.
it's funny because that
Virgo's
particular
Earth.
person or that particular attitude doesn't really sit well, does it?
No.
But again, if you think about perfectionists, they're not going to rest
until it's
perfect.
Done, until it's done, right? But they are very earthy people.
Yeah.
Typically, when they're not scattered,
when they're very
not, because they
can be scattered.
Incredibly scattered. I know a few Virgos that are incredibly scattered, but typically they can be quite grounding.
Yeah.
So so you want a job done.
Yeah, off you go.
Get onto a Virgo.
Get a Virgo.
Now, when we look here, what do we see here? Like, how is that? How would we know that was Virgo? Do you reckon it's because, like, you go out on your own?
I think so.
Like, Virgos are willing to do that.
They
right?
are. They're quite, not so much independent, but they want a job done. They're the ones to do it, so they will go and do it.
And they lead themselves, they're self-leading. So I feel like whether the light here is actually his own light, so he's leading with his own wisdom, this dude. So I feel like that's what we might be looking at there. And it's an interesting point you made about the snow and the grey on this card, because I'm wondering how that fits in the northern hemisphere. I'm like, that might be it, you know.
It might be it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of attributes, but and actually on that kind of thing, if you guys want to know more, reach out to us, because Tren and I run all kinds of different things.
We do.
Yeah, tailor stuff and everything.
Exactly.
So, you want to know more? We're going to give you a little taste, and that's it. Right? We're going to give you a little taste, and that's it. What do you reckon? What do we got time for? We got time for all these, or
One,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're exactly halfway.
So we probably do have, if we run through them quickly.
All right, we'll do it quick. Okay,
do it quick.
All right, Libra.
So we've got Libra is justice.
So, of course.
September, October.
Yeah, and Libra's all about what's fair, what's right, fair, what's just.
Not equaling up, weighing things up, don't they? They weigh things up.
A lot of Librans I know get bent out of shape if things aren't fair.
Exactly.
Right. So and I get that. And there's a karmic thing, and this is found by the scales. And Libra, astrologically, is represented by the scales.
So there's your hint there, isn't it?
That's your hint. That's your hint on that one. So that is Librans. I've got a little Libran in my family. Yeah. And get them to make a decision.
Well, they can't. It's like almost impossible, isn't it? They go backwards and forwards. Just go make the damn decision.
Like, one of them needs to call on their other energies. They're beautiful. I love the Libran. Yeah. All right, and then we move into Scorpio. Now Scorpio wants everything to be new and start again. They are not afraid of transformation. No, they are known as the Phoenix. Therefore,
the death card. And Scorpio is October, November.
So when the death card arises and people, you can actually say to them, hang on a minute, this might be happening in the time of
October, November.
Scorpio, yeah. So Scorpios want brand new. Well, they're happy to transform, and they will
Exactly.
transform and transform and transform again until they are where they
Where
are
they need to
choosing
be.
or need to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Death does that. I see Death as the cleanup crew.
Exactly.
So it comes in and cleans all that shit up. So yes.
It's funny you were saying about, they wanting everything new. I'm a Scorpio and I cannot stand clutter. If I haven't used it, I've got to get rid of it. I
Really?
just cannot have,
Wow.
I just can't have it. It drives my husband mad because he hangs on to things and I can't.
Element of water.
Water.
Very deep. You think
Yes.
about them, they go really
Yep.
deep and then they come all the way up. So
Yeah.
these guys, rivers run deep. Great to have a conversation with if you want a deep conversation. And yeah,
Great secret keepers too.
great secret. I can trust me, mate, with all these secrets. Yeah, so secret keepers. So there you go. So that
Exactly.
is just very
That's-
quickly that,
yeah.
and you would see that. I think because death itself is total
Yeah,
transformation,
exactly.
that would be the key for Scorpio.
Scorpio, yeah.
And because they're not afraid to
Reinvent
themselves.
Yeah, reinvent.
Yeah. And that's what death is, isn't it? You think
It's a
about that.
reinvention.
Reinvention, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I forgot to say before, right? And I'll say it now.
Yeah.
Librans are an air sign.
Makes sense, wouldn't it?
An air sign. And the other clue on the justice card, just to jump back, because I was just looking at
Yeah.
it, is your
Is a
sword.
sword.
Because the sword is represented by the element of air as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Moving on to Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
And it's a temperance, and that is November. No, yes, it is November, December.
Righto.
November, December.
How the fuck
Now,
is
Sagittarius. Oh,
on here? Because he's, astrologically looks like the Archer. So how do we see Sag on
exactly.
here?
Yeah.
Because temperance is really about going with the flow. And like beautiful friend of mine is Sagittarius, and she likes to have the right mix, which is these two cups here flowing from one to the other as you look at the card, and likes to be a bit of an adventurer, likes to have a holiday, likes to get out, likes to be in her own flow.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So I'm wondering about that.
That could be,
about that.
Yeah, I've got two in my family, two Sagittarius, and they're very adventurous. They don't like to stay home. You've got to explore.
Explore the wider. Explore the wider. And as you look on this card here, you see there's a path, right? Yeah. So to me, the path would represent the traveling wanderer.
Yeah.
Or what was it, the wandering traveler? Or whatever the fuck it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a book. Yeah, I know that is, yeah. We will think of it.
We will think of that. So this is really interesting from a timing point of view. So I would look at that and say, in the time
of November, December.
Yeah. And like some of the cards are obvious and some of them are not so obvious.
That's
really,
right.
aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
Interesting.
This next one to me is very obvious.
Okay,
and
why is it
Capricorn.
Obvious? Why is it obvious?
Because of the devil.
The devil.
The devil.
The devil made me do it.
Yeah, no, and it's the goat horns.
The goat, yeah. Capricorns, stubborn motherfuckers.
Oh, aren't they? Do it their way.
Again, give this one a task though, and if they'll do it. They won't give up.
Exactly.
They will not give up. They will get down, get up, get down, get up, get down, get up. Very much get it done. Can be the similar attributes that the devil has, like addiction, if you will. Yeah. So can get caught in that.
Well, yes, get in. They once they get started, it's hard to get them stopped. That's what I feel. They've got their plan. They've got their list.
Workaholic. Right. So can be a bit like that. So you can see here, as Tren has pointed out, we have the goats.
Yeah. I often think, what was I going to say? Something. Sometimes I feel like there's a bit of control there as well.
They are control freaks.
Yes.
Got to get it done. There's a few control freaks.
There is a few
control freaks. So yeah, Capricorn, and they're earthy.
Very, very earthy.
Very, very earthy, grounded. Sometimes they'll dig their heels in that.
Oh, I think most of the times they dig their heels in, don't they?
dig their heels in. And see, here's the thing about the astrological signs as
Mhm.
well, is you have your rising, your sun and your moon sign, and there's a whole lot of other things that go into
Yeah.
it, right? So if you're going to look at your chart,
Yes.
then have a good look at all of what's there. And then once you sort of learn a little bit about that yourself, what's in your own chart and how your rising and your sun and your moon can work in your chart and in your life, then when you're reading for others, you might see these other things come up, and you might start to see a bit of a theme, and then you can actually say, oh, to have a bit of Capricorn in you, because I'm sensing this here. So a bit like that. So that's good old Cappies.
And then we move on to January and February, which is Aquarius, the star.
The star. Now, there's a confusing thing about Aquarians.
Yes, there is, because some people think they're water signs.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're not. They're an air sign. So, and that gets confused by the water bearer.
The symbol, isn't it?
Yeah, the water bearer, right? Aries. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Aquarius.
Is an air sign. Very much an air sign. So how would we know this? On this card, I believe it's because we're looking at a water bearer.
Water bearer.
And that is the astrological sign for
Aquarius. You could also, because of the air, I'm looking at the stars, I mean, looking at space. So it's the air, isn't it?
This is true. This is true. The time of Aquarius. Pardon me, is very much about the air. So that's how you can do the timing of that. And what's that timing again?
That's January, February.
So January, February, if you see this card and you go, oh, it could be happening
Could be
in a
around
time of, because remember, we're looking at this from a timing point of view, really. That's really what this is about today, rather than
going more into it.
Stuff. That's a whole nother session. And then we
go
the
Pisces.
last one,
The last
Pisces,
which is the moon.
Moon. Now, why would it be the moon?
The moon. Well, doesn't Pisces ruled by the moon? Yeah, they are, aren't they?
I think so. So they've got Neptune around them. Pisces too.
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah. So Pisces is very, very deep. Right, not quite as deep as Scorpio,
but
right?
they
are deep. Now they're also known to be considered psychic, right? So there's this ability that they have, and the moon can be like that. We can get a lot of insights from the moon, right? What else have we got here that reminds us of Pisces, do you think?
Well, it's not actually, I'm looking at the water and it's the crayfish coming out, but Pisces is two fish, aren't they? So it's like that's not
right.
It's not representing it. That will confuse people, because we think it's either scorpion or a crab.
Which would make you think Cancerian. Right? Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit confusing, but it is Pisces.
Bit of a tricky thing.
Yeah,
bit of a tricky thing.
If we're looking at Pisces, because we've got two, we could say the two towers.
I can see how you got that.
Two towers.
I can see how you got that. Yeah, but it is very much about the depth that Pisces will go to, and very much about the water element. And the fact that they're quite psychic, because the moon is considered a psychic card. Like we should probably do a podcast on the psychic cards in the deck.
Actually, yes, we probably should.
We should, and the moon.
Make a note of that.
Quick, write it down, Trent. And the moon is one of them. So that's so just for a little bit of fun. And what's the date for that again?
That is February, March. So we've come full circle, and then we start again with the Emperor.
And then we start again with the Emperor. So there you go. Just a little quick thing.
Just to sort of bring an extra little bit into your readings. Now, quickly, do you want to draw a card and see how we did with the
Do we unearth anything from you guys?
We dig deep.
Do we uncover? Do we go deep enough? And I pulled the wrong fucking card. Oh no, there it is.
There it is.
Well, I pulled the wrong fucking card. How do we do, you guys? How do we do for this one? Did you get any additional information that you didn't have before? What happened?
Well,
Did we unearth anything? Yeah, we hope so. Did we unearth anything? And this is just, like I said, really quick snippets as to what's available to you when you start working with the tarot. And if you're looking at more, reach out.
Yes, get in touch with us.
PM us, all the things.
We've got all sorts of things happening. So.
We do, and we have all sorts of knowledge that we don't think about in the moment.
Exactly.
You watch. You know what's going to happen? We're going to get off this podcast and go, oh, fuck, we've got to say this,
we forgot to say that. This means this.
This means this, and this means that. Let's have a look. So did we achieve.
Did we get to the bottom of things?
Did we get to the bottom? Did we get to the bottom of things as those metaphors coming
Yeah,
out? Listen to you,
okay.
friend. Did we get to the bottom of that? Was this a useful podcast for our listeners and our viewers?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. No more mucking around. What do we get?
What did we get?
6 of Wands.
Oh, okay.
6 of Wands.
6 of Wands.
Let me think about that, because what he's doing here is holding, we'll hold it up in a sec.
Yeah.
He's holding like his victory here.
Oh, he is too. Oh, okay. Yes, he is too.
Holding his victory. So this is kind of indicating that maybe you buggers listening and watching will reach out and let us know.
Yes.
Whether that was okay or not, because it's like the news and stuff that you're waiting for, isn't it? I'm just trying to think, like, what is it?
It could be. We'll show you the card, but it's almost like he very much is on fire. Like he's got the wand on fire.
So yeah, and taking action. Taking action, and look, here we are, Tren. Look at this here. Here we are, and here's our audience.
The audience is up
Looking
there as well.
us.
Yeah,
That's funny. So, are they engaging this audience? Some of them are. Some of them are laughing. Look, some of them.
Well, yeah,
some of them are laughing.
we do have fun.
We hope we give you a laugh. Let's see. We're just going to compare it to the Rider-Waite so we can see. Because again, we're like, what else is there?
I think the Rider-Waite, he's on a horse, isn't he? And he's got the people coming.
He's got the people around him, like so he's got his support.
He's got his support.
So he's got his supporters. So this would indicate to me, I don't know how you feel, Tren, but to me, it indicates that you and I, are as good as our followers.
Yes.
Right. And we have the followers on both the cards. So it means then that it is very much about community. So we are building community.
Exactly.
We are building community. And speaking of building community, what would really help us is if you share this.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Get it out there, talk about it, all the things that you like, all the things that you don't like, send us the feedback, help build the community.
Exactly.
You know what? I was talking to a young girl last week, just about tarot business.
Yeah.
And different things, you know, would you do this, would you do that? She had like all amazing questions, answered all the questions. And then she said, and I love your podcast. And I was like,
oh wow.
God. So that was really, really, I'm trying to find the right word. It really lit me up, because then I thought, okay, so this is helping.
Yes,
this
very
is
much.
helping.
Yeah.
So help us grow our community.
Exactly.
That's what I would say this card is about.
The tarot community.
Did we get to the bottom of it? We will, with the help of our community.
Yes, exactly. You will give us your feedback. Let us know
Absolutely.
if we've missed out something or you want to know more.
Yeah. This card kind of tells me like we're still in transition with it, like, and we're making the moves and taking the action.
Yes.
So that's what that is. So maybe we didn't quite get there today.
But we are heading in the right direction.
We are heading in the right direction is what I'm getting from those cards.
Yes.
So thank you for listening and watching, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Yes. Yes. And let us know any questions.
Absolutely.
Send them through the, DM us through Instagram, Facebook, or our email is tarotdealers@gmail.com.
There you go. tarotdealers@gmail.com. Big love, guys. We'll catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye.